about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 movies on there. And that's on the extended thing. And it looks good. Doesn't look like it's blurry or anything. I think it all depends on the show that you're recording and stuff like that. But that's just an example of how far how far the evolution of something has come. I mean, think about it. I mean, now you also have what is known as the DVRs. DVRs, you can record up to maybe 200 shows, maybe 200 movies or something like that on one thing. It all depends. But it's all about evolution. It's all about evolution. And that's why people like me nowadays turn to DVD recorders, turn to Blu-ray recorders, DVRs, whatever you want to call them, because we know we can always get these shows on quality that we'd have to shell out maybe 15 to 20 bucks for if we wanted a tape on it, or we wanted to purchase the DVD or Blu-ray on it. So that's going to do it for right now. But I'll be back, and when I come back, I'm going to showcase to you here on episode 8 my collection of recordable DVD programs, movies, and shows that I have. Now, that at one point I could have put on here, but now, thanks to the evolution, have these. So, I'll be back. Stay tuned. Okay, welcome back. You know, in the first portion of this video, because this is going to be in multiple parts, I talked about the evolution of video format from essentially 8mm, 16mm, all the way up to what it is today, which is Blu-ray, DVDs, and DVRs. I also talked about how the fact that we went from recordable VHS and beta tapes and all that to what we are now, recordable Blu-rays and DVDs. Well, now I'm going to showcase to you my collection of stuff that I've recorded over the years since I've had access to recordable DVD recorders. Now, first of all, a little history lesson. Back in 2003 is when I purchased my first DVD recorder. That's about 7.5 years ago. And that was an Apex. That only lasted me a couple of days. Then I bought another one that lasted me a couple of months. Then I bought another one, it lasted me about a year. And they were all the same brand. Excuse me. So after a year, after the third one conked down to me after a year, I decided to buy a new one. But instead of getting an Apex, I got what is known as an ILO. And the ILO lasted me from 2004 to about 2009. That's right, it lasted me about 5 years, even from Kansas to here to California. And that's pretty good. The only thing, though, about my ILO recorder, and I forgot to mention this, and I forgot to mention this in the first part, is that with certain DVD recorders at the time, unless they were a notable brand, like mine's a Sony, unless they were a notable brand, something like an ILO would only probably work best with a DVD+R recordable disc. Now, plus R, in case you don't know, is sort of like a VHS tape with the tab still on it. That's right. You could never, unless you programmed it to not record anymore, it's basically anything goes disc. So you could erase anything you want off of DVD+RW and put something else on there. I've done that on a few occasions. But that's basically what it was. And why was that one, and why was the ILO more compatible with it? Well, even though the ILO was compatible with +Rs, it seemed the +Rs put more strain on it. The +RWs were more like smooth sailing. So, and it came with a +RW disc. So, what does that tell you? Anyway, besides that, after the ILO conked out on me in July, I went and tried to get myself a new one. I couldn't get the new one because my card was being declined. So my mom decided for an early birthday present she was going to get me it, and she did. And what I do is I use the DVD recorder not just for what I do, but if she needs something recorded, I record something for her. So plays out very evenly. But anyway, let's get back to what this second part is. And the second part is about what I've collected over the years, recordable wise, what I've recorded over the years on DVD. Now, what I have here is the majority of what I've gotten from my room and from here in the living room. The others are in the rec room and in my bedroom, and I'll showcase those to you in a little bit. I might have to let my battery charge because what I'm using is my VHS camcorder right now. Now, as I showed you, let's start off with what I've showed you already. Now, this here is my Bonkers DVD. This was recorded at the beginning of last year. Well, around actually almost a year ago on the, as you can see, the 29th of last year. Now, the reason I did this is because a friend that I met on YouTube sent me a tape which had the New Partners on the Block episode on there. Because I went out to the backyard here, out here, and I asked if there was anybody that had New Partners on the Block. They had the English version, not the German version. This friend who lives in Maryland told me she had it. She sent me the tape, and in exchange, not only did I send her tape back to her, but also I gave her a DVD copy of the episode along with a few bonus episodes. So, there you go. And that was recorded, I think, on 2 hours worth of DVD. I believe, recorded on 2 hours worth. Because I wanted good quality. But a year before that, basically about, I believe, a couple of days after I got my Sony recorder, this I also recorded. Like I said, this has 5 episodes of James Wolfe's Angry Video Game Nerd, 4 Sonic fan vids, 3 episodes of the Nostalgia Critic, and a Yogi Bear episode from the Yogi Bear cartoon for the new Yogi Bear show, Battle of the Bears. And as you can see, I also mark it in there to let people know about that. As part of my collection there. Now this here, like I showed you, is my TNA, ECW, and SmackDown and Raw DVD. It's not marked on the inside, but it is here on the outside. And this was recorded, this one right here was recorded when I had my ILO. So, there you go. And I'll talk more about this wrestling deal later on. Now let's move these down to the side for a second. Now right here is an example of what the 13 plus hour, almost 14 hours worth of recording time on my Sony can do with a recordable disc. Because right here, as you could probably read, I don't know if you could read that well, I have Tiny Toons, How I Spent My Vacation, Superman, Batman, Public Enemies, Tinkerbell and the Lost Treasure, Monsters vs. Aliens, Chipmunks Meet the Wolfman, TMNT Turtles Forever, Hulk vs. Wolverine, Justice League, Alive and Destroy movie, basically I think the finale to Justice League Unlimited, Kingdom Chums Top 10, Kingdom Chums Little David Adventure,